The middle class in America is bleeding money every single day, and most people have no idea it's happening. You work hard, you budget carefully, you think you're making smart choices, but there are silent money drains hiding in plain sight that are quietly emptying your bank account month after month. These aren't obvious luxuries or wild splurges. They're everyday decisions that feel normal, even responsible, but they're costing you thousands of dollars every year without delivering real value in return. This video breaks down 15 of the most common money traps that middle-class families fall into without realizing it. You'll learn exactly where your money is going, why these habits are so hard to break, and what you can do right now to plug the leaks in your budget. People are just making decisions based on convenience, social pressure, and clever marketing that makes bad deals look good. By the end of this video, you'll have a clear picture of where you can cut back without feeling deprived, and you'll understand the tactics companies use to keep you spending more than you should. Number 15 is extended warranties and protection plans. When you buy electronics, appliances, or even furniture, the salesperson almost always offers you an extended warranty at checkout. It sounds like a safety net. Your new laptop costs $800, and for just another $150, you can protect it for 3 extra years. The pitch makes you feel like you'd be foolish not to buy it. But here's what most people don't realize. The profit margin on these warranties is enormous for the retailer, and the actual payout rate is incredibly low. Most electronics either fail within the manufacturer's warranty period or they last well beyond it. The window where an extended warranty would actually help is narrow. On top of that, many credit cards already offer purchase protection for free if you use them to buy the item. You're paying for coverage you might already have. When something does break, the claims process is often so frustrating that people give up. You have to ship the item back, wait weeks for approval, deal with refurbished replacements instead of new ones, and jump through hoops to prove the damage wasn't your fault. Companies design these systems to be just annoying enough that a large percentage of buyers never follow through. That's how they stay profitable. If you're buying a $10,000 piece of equipment for your business, maybe a warranty makes sense, but for everyday consumer goods, you're better off skipping the warranty and putting that money into an emergency fund instead. If something breaks, you can fix or replace it yourself without handing over cash for protection you'll probably never use. Number 14 is premium cable and streaming bundles. A decade ago, people cut the cord to escape expensive cable bills. Now, the middle class has rebuilt the same problem with streaming services. You start with 1 or 2 subscriptions, then you add another because your favorite show moved to a different platform. Before long, you're paying for 6 or 7 services every month, and the total rivals what cable used to cost. The difference is that cable bundled everything together, so you knew what you were paying. Streaming companies split content across platforms on purpose. They know that if your family wants to watch sports, kids' shows, prestige dramas, and movies, you'll need multiple subscriptions. It's the same content, just repackaged to make you pay more. Most households don't watch even half of what they're subscribed to. You keep paying for services because you watched one show 6 months ago, and you tell yourself you'll get back to it. Meanwhile, the charge hits your card every month whether you log in or not. Then, there's the add-on trap. The base subscription is cheap, but to skip ads or stream in higher quality or watch on more devices, you have to upgrade. Those upgrades add up fast. The platforms also raise prices quietly, counting on the fact that most people won't notice a $2 increase or won't bother to cancel. If you actually tracked what you watch, you'd probably find that you could rotate subscriptions instead of keeping them all active. Subscribe to one for a month, binge what you want, cancel, then move to the next. You'd cut your annual streaming costs in half without missing anything important. Number 13 is food delivery apps. Ordering food through an app feels easy and convenient, especially after a long day when cooking sounds impossible. But the markup on delivery apps is staggering, and most people don't realize how much extra they're paying. The menu prices on the app are often higher than the prices in the restaurant. Then the app adds a service fee, a delivery fee, and sometimes a small order fee if you don't hit a minimum. After that, there's a prompt to tip the driver, and because the suggested amounts are percentages of the inflated total, you end up tipping on fees, not just food. A meal that costs $15 at the restaurant can easily become $30 by the time it reaches your door. If you order delivery twice a week, you're spending an extra $1,500 a year just on fees and markups. That's money that could go toward groceries, savings, or paying down debt. The apps know that convenience is worth a premium to tired, busy people, so they've built a business model around making it as frictionless as possible to overspend. You tap a few buttons and food shows up. You don't see the breakdown until after you've ordered, and by then you're committed. Some apps also use dynamic pricing, charging more during peak hours when demand is high. You might pay more for the same meal on a Friday night than you would on a Tuesday afternoon. The solution isn't to never use delivery, but to be strategic. Pick up your own food when you can. If you do use delivery, order for the whole family or split an order with a neighbor to spread out the fees. Better yet, cook simple meals at home and save delivery for rare occasions instead of making it a weekly habit. Number 12 is new cars with long financing terms. Buying a new car has always been a big purchase, but the way people finance cars today is traps them in debt for years. Dealerships push long loan terms, sometimes stretching payments out over 6, 7, or even 8 years. The monthly payment looks manageable, so people think they can afford it. But extending the loan means you're paying thousands more in interest, and you're underwater on the car for most of the loan's life. That means you owe more than the car is worth, so if you need to sell or trade it in early, you're stuck. New cars lose value fast. A car loses a chunk of its value the moment you drive it off the lot, and it keeps depreciating for the first few years. If you're financing a new car for 8 years, you're making payments on an asset that's worth less and less every month while you're still paying interest on the original price. Meanwhile, car prices have climbed, and dealers add on extra fees, accessories, and packages that inflate the total even more. They also push gap insurance, paint protection, and other add-ons that pad their profit margins. By the time you sign the paperwork, you're financing a car that costs $10,000 more than you thought. The smarter move is to buy a reliable used car that's a few years old. Let someone else take the depreciation hit. Pay cash if you can, or finance for 3 years max. If a used car in good condition costs $15,000 and a new one costs $35,000, you're saving $20,000 that could go toward your mortgage, retirement, or your kids' education. Cars are tools to get you from one place to another. They shouldn't be sucking up a huge chunk of your income for most of a decade. Number 11 is premium gym memberships. Fitness is important, but a lot of middle-class families are paying for gym memberships they barely use. Big commercial gyms offer premium plans with access to classes, pools, saunas, and personal training. And the monthly fee can run $50 to over $100 per person. That adds up fast for a family. The gym business model depends on people signing up with good intentions and then not showing up. They make their money from members who pay every month but only visit a handful of times. Gyms also make it deliberately hard to cancel. You can't just stop paying. You have to call during business hours, sometimes visit in person, or send a certified letter. They put up barriers because they know that if they make it inconvenient enough, a percentage of people will just keep paying rather than deal with the hassle. For many people, a basic gym membership or a home workout setup would be just as effective. You don't need a climbing wall and a juice bar to get in shape. Bodyweight exercises, a set of dumbbells, and free workout videos online can give you everything you need. If you like group classes, community centers often offer them for a fraction of the price. The key is to be honest about how often you'll actually go. If you're only hitting the gym twice a month, you're paying $25 or more per visit. You could pay for drop-in classes at that rate and save money. Fitness doesn't have to be expensive, but the industry has convinced people that they need premium facilities and fancy equipment to see results. Most of the time, consistency matters more than the setting, and you can be consistent without paying a premium. Number 10 is ATM fees and overdraft charges. Bank fees are one of the most frustrating ways the middle class wastes money because they feel like penalties for small mistakes. ATM fees hit you when you need cash and you're not near your bank's machine. You pay a fee to the ATM owner and another fee to your own bank for using an out-of-network machine. Those fees can add up to $5 or $6 per withdrawal. If you do that a few times a month, you're losing $60 or $70 a year just to access your own money. Overdraft fees are even worse. If you spend more than what's in your checking account, even by a few dollars, the bank charges you a fee that can be $30 or $35 per transaction. If you make multiple purchases before you realize you're overdrawn, you can rack up $100 in fees in a single day. Banks process transactions in ways that maximize fees. They used to reorder transactions from largest to smallest so that a big purchase would overdraw your account first, triggering fees on all the smaller purchases that followed. Some banks still use tactics like this. Even though regulations have tightened, the fees remain high, and banks count on people not paying close attention to their balances. The solution is to switch to a bank or credit union that doesn't charge ATM fees or overdraft fees. Many online banks reimburse ATM fees and don't charge overdraft penalties. You can also link your checking account to a savings account so that if you overdraw, the bank pulls from savings instead of charging you a fee. It takes a few minutes to set up, and it can save you hundreds of dollars. Bank fees are pure profit for financial institutions, and they're designed to catch people who are already stretched thin. Don't let your bank nickel and dime you for basic access to your own funds. Number 9 is lottery tickets and scratch-offs. People in the middle class often buy lottery tickets as a small indulgence, spending $5 or $10 a week on the dream of hitting it big. It feels harmless because each ticket is cheap, but those small purchases add up over time. $10 a week is over $500 a year. That's money that could go into an emergency fund or an investment account where it would actually grow. The odds of winning a major lottery jackpot are astronomically low, often worse than 1 in 100 million. You're more likely to be struck by lightning than to win the big prize. Even smaller prizes are designed to keep you playing. You might win $10 or $20 here and there, just enough to make you think you're getting somewhere, but over the long run, you're always losing more than you're winning. That's how lotteries stay profitable. The lottery is often called a tax on people who are bad at math, and there's truth to that. It preys on hope and the fantasy of a better life, but it's a form of gambling with some of the worst odds you can find. State lotteries are also regressive, meaning they take a bigger bite out of the budgets of lower and middle-income people than wealthy people. The marketing is designed to make it feel fun and exciting, but the reality is that most players lose. If you're buying tickets regularly, you're funding a system that's designed to take your money, not give it back. If you redirected that $500 a year into an index fund, it would compound over time. After 20 years, assuming average returns, you'd have over $15,000. That's real money you can use, not a fantasy. The lottery offers hope, but hope doesn't pay the bills. Number 8 is buying lunch out every workday. Grabbing lunch from a restaurant or cafe during the workday is one of the easiest spending habits to overlook. It doesn't feel like a big deal because it's just $10 or $12. But when you do it 5 days a week, 50 weeks a year, you're spending $3,000 annually. That's a significant chunk of money for something you could prepare at home for a fraction of the cost. Packing your own lunch might cost $2 or $3 in ingredients, saving you around $2,000 a year. The habit persists because it's convenient and social. Going out to lunch gives you a break from the office, and it's a chance to catch up with coworkers. But you can still take that break without spending money every day. Bring your lunch and eat outside or in a common area. If your team goes out, join them once a week instead of every day. Meal prepping on the weekend makes packing lunch easy. Cook a big batch of something simple like pasta, rice bowls, or sandwiches, portion it out, and you're set for the week. It takes an hour or two up front, but it saves you time during the week and keeps money in your pocket. Restaurants also mark up drinks heavily. A soda or iced coffee that costs $4 at a cafe costs pennies to make at home. If you're buying a drink with lunch every day, that's another $500 to $1,000 a year. Some people argue that their time is worth more than the money they save by packing lunch, but the math doesn't support that unless you're earning an extremely high hourly rate. For most middle-class workers, spending a little time on meal prep is one of the highest return activities you can do. It's not about deprivation. It's about being intentional with your money and recognizing that small daily expenses add up to huge annual costs. Number 7 is retail therapy and impulse shopping. Shopping as a way to deal with stress, boredom, or sadness is a common habit, and it's one that retailers actively encourage. Stores and online platforms are designed to trigger impulse purchases. They use limited-time sales, flash deals, and messages that say things like, "Only 2 left in stock," to create urgency. You feel pressure to buy now or miss out, even if you didn't need the item in the first place. Online shopping makes this worse because it's so easy. You can browse and buy from your phone while lying in bed, and the purchase doesn't feel real until the package shows up. By then, you've already spent the money. Free shipping thresholds push you to add more items to your cart to avoid a delivery fee, so you end up buying things you wouldn't have otherwise. Buy now, pay later services also encourage overspending by letting you split payments into installments. It makes a $100 purchase feel like 4 payments of $25, which seems more manageable. But you're still spending $100, and if you use buy now, pay later for multiple purchases, you can quickly lose track of how much you owe. Retail therapy provides a temporary mood boost, but it doesn't solve underlying problems, and it often leads to guilt when you see your credit card bill. The stuff you buy during emotional shopping sprees usually ends up sitting in a closet unused. A good rule is to wait 24 hours before making any non-essential purchase. Add the item to your cart, then come back the next day. Most of the time, you'll realize you don't actually want it. If you do still want it, the purchase will feel more intentional and less impulsive. Another strategy is to set a monthly discretionary spending limit and stick to it. Once you hit the limit, you're done until next month. It forces you to prioritize and think carefully about what's worth spending on. Impulse shopping is a habit that can drain thousands from your budget every year without you noticing because each purchase feels small in the moment. Breaking the habit requires awareness and systems that slow you down before you spend. Number 6 is premium coffee and daily cafe visits. Coffee culture has exploded over the past couple of decades, and it's become normal for middle-class people to stop at a cafe every morning on their way to work. A specialty coffee drink can cost $5 or $6, and if you're buying one every weekday, that's over $1,200 a year. Add a pastry or breakfast sandwich a few times a week, and you're pushing $2,000. The ritual feels good. It's a small luxury that breaks up the routine, and the caffeine helps you start the day, but you can get the same caffeine and the same routine for a fraction of the cost by making coffee at home. Starbucks and other chains have built an entire business model around making coffee feel like an experience, not just a drink. They've created a culture where buying a $5 latte is seen as normal, even necessary. But coffee beans are cheap. A bag of good quality coffee that costs $12 can make 30 or 40 cups. Even if you buy fancy milk and syrups, you're still spending less than 50 cents per cup. The gap between what it costs to make coffee at home and what you pay at a cafe is enormous, and that gap is pure profit for the company. The counterargument is that people aren't just buying coffee. They're buying the environment, the convenience, and the social experience. That's fair, but you don't need to do it every single day to get those benefits. Make coffee at home most days, and treat yourself to a cafe visit once or twice a week. You'll still enjoy it, maybe even more because it becomes special instead of routine, and you'll save over $1,000 a year. If you're really attached to the convenience, invest in a good travel mug and a simple coffee maker with a timer. You can have hot coffee ready when you wake up, pour it into your mug, and take it with you. It's just as convenient as a drive-through, and it costs almost nothing. Number 5 is paying for convenience at grocery stores. Grocery shopping has changed a lot in recent years, and while some changes make life easier, they also come with hidden costs that add up fast. Pre-cut fruits and vegetables, pre-marinated meats, meal kits, and grab-and-go prepared foods are all designed to save you time, but you're paying a significant premium for that convenience. A whole pineapple might cost $3, but pre-cut pineapple in a container costs $6 or $7. You're paying double for someone else to spend 2 minutes cutting it. The same goes for bagged salad, pre-shredded cheese, and single-serve snacks. The markup on these items is huge compared to buying the whole version and doing the prep yourself. Meal kits that get delivered to your house are even worse. They market themselves as a way to save time and reduce waste, but they cost far more than buying the same ingredients at the store. You're paying for the packaging, the delivery, the recipe cards, and the brand. If you planned your meals and shopped once a week, you'd spend half as much and still have the same food. Grocery stores also use layout and placement strategies to get you to spend more. The most expensive items are placed at eye level. Essentials like milk and eggs are in the back of the store, so you have to walk past hundreds of other products to get to them. End caps and displays make items look like they're on sale when they're often just regular price. Shopping without a list makes you vulnerable to these tactics. You end up buying things you didn't plan for, and your bill is higher than it should be. The solution is to plan your meals, make a list, and stick to it. Buy whole ingredients and spend a little time prepping them yourself. If you're too busy during the week, do the prep on the weekend. Wash and chop vegetables, portion out snacks, and cook big batches of staples like rice and beans. It takes an hour or two, but it saves you hundreds of dollars a month and gives you more control over what you're eating. Convenience is expensive, and grocery stores know that busy middle-class families are willing to pay for it. Don't let laziness cost you thousands a year. Number 4 is subscription services you forgot about. Subscriptions are everywhere now, and they're designed to be easy to sign up for and hard to cancel. Companies love subscriptions because they create predictable, recurring revenue. You love them at first because they offer something you want, but over time, many subscriptions fade into the background. You stop using them, but you keep paying. It could be a streaming service you signed up for to watch one show, a meditation app you used twice, a subscription box that seemed fun but now just clutters your house, a software tool you needed for one project. These charges are small enough that they don't stand out on your credit card statement, and that's exactly why they're so effective. $5 here, $10 there, and before you know it, you're paying $100 a month for services you rarely or never use. The average person has more subscriptions than they realize because they're spread across different cards and accounts. Some people are paying for gym memberships they haven't used in years, magazines they don't read, or cloud storage they signed up for once and forgot about. Companies count on this. They make cancellation processes deliberately annoying. You have to log in, navigate through menus, sometimes call customer service or send an email. They'll offer you a discount to stay, or they'll ask why you're leaving and make you feel guilty. These friction points are designed to reduce cancellations. The best way to tackle this is to go through your bank and credit card statements for the past 3 months and highlight every recurring charge. Then ask yourself if you're actually using each service and if it's worth the cost. Cancel anything you're not using regularly. For the ones you do use, see if you can downgrade to a cheaper plan or find a free alternative. Set a calendar reminder every 6 months to review your subscriptions again. New ones will creep in over time, and you need to stay on top of it. Subscriptions are one of the easiest places to cut spending without changing your lifestyle because you're already not using most of them. Number 3 is financing furniture and home goods. Furniture stores and big box retailers offer financing deals that make it easy to buy now and pay later. 0% interest for 12 months sounds great, and it makes a $2,000 couch feel affordable when it's only $40 a month. But these deals come with traps. If you don't pay off the full balance before the promotional period ends, you get hit with retroactive interest on the entire original amount. That interest is usually high, often over 20%. Suddenly, your $2,000 couch cost you $3,000. The stores don't advertise this clearly. They focus on the low monthly payment and the zero interest period, knowing that a significant percentage of buyers won't pay it off in time. Life happens. You have an unexpected expense, you forget to make a payment, or you just don't have the cash when the promo period ends. The financing company has you locked in, and they make a fortune on interest. Even if you do pay it off in time, financing furniture normalizes debt for things that aren't investments. A couch doesn't increase in value. It's not going to help you build wealth. It's a depreciating consumer good, and going into debt for it is a bad financial move. The middle class has been conditioned to think that financing is just how you buy big-ticket items. But that's not true. You can save up and pay cash. You can buy used furniture that's just as good for a fraction of the price. You can shop at discount stores or wait for real sales. Financing makes you feel like you can afford more than you actually can, and it locks you into monthly payments that reduce your financial flexibility. If an emergency comes up, those payments are still due. You can't just stop paying for the couch because you need the money for something else. Debt is a tool, but it should be used strategically for things that build wealth, like education or a home. Using it for furniture and electronics is a sign that you're living beyond your means, and it's a habit that keeps the middle class stuck in a cycle of payments instead of building savings. Number 2 is keeping up with lifestyle inflation. Lifestyle inflation is what happens when your income goes up and your spending goes up right along with it. You get a raise at work, and instead of saving the extra money, you upgrade your car, move to a nicer apartment, eat out more often, or buy more expensive clothes. It feels natural because you're earning more, so why not enjoy it? But this is one of the biggest reasons people stay stuck financially even when their income grows. If you're making more money but you're also spending more, you're not actually getting ahead. Your lifestyle is more expensive, but your savings rate stays the same or even goes down. You're on a treadmill, working harder and earning more, but never building real wealth. The problem is that once you upgrade your lifestyle, it's really hard to go back. You get used to the nicer car, the bigger house, the better restaurants. Those things become your new normal, and cutting back feels like a sacrifice. You've locked yourself into higher fixed costs, and if something happens, like a job loss or a medical emergency, you're in trouble because your expenses are too high to sustain on a reduced income. Lifestyle inflation is driven by social comparison. You see your coworkers, friends, and neighbors upgrading their lives, and you feel pressure to keep up. Social media makes this worse because everyone is posting the highlight reel of their life. You see vacations, new cars, renovations, and it creates a sense that you're falling behind if you're not doing the same. But what you don't see is the debt, the stress, and the lack of savings behind those posts. The antidote to lifestyle inflation is intentionality. When you get a raise, decide in advance what you'll do with the extra money. A good rule is to save or invest at least half of any increase in income. If you get a $3,000 raise, put $1,500 into savings or retirement and let yourself enjoy the other $1,500. That way, you're improving your quality of life without undermining your financial future. Another strategy is to focus on the things that actually make you happy. Research shows that beyond a certain point, more stuff doesn't make you happier. Experiences, relationships, and financial security matter more than a bigger house or a luxury car. If you can avoid lifestyle inflation and keep your expenses stable as your income grows, you'll build wealth faster than you ever thought possible. Number one is not negotiating and accepting the first price. The number one way the middle class wastes money is by not negotiating and simply accepting whatever price is presented. Most people assume that prices are fixed and that asking for a discount or a better deal is rude or pointless. But the reality is that almost everything is negotiable, and companies expect you to ask. If you don't, you're leaving money on the table. This applies to major purchases like cars and houses, but it also applies to everyday things like medical bills, insurance premiums, and even cable and internet service. Car dealerships build negotiation into their pricing model. The sticker price is inflated because they expect you to haggle. If you pay the asking price without negotiating, you're overpaying by thousands of dollars. The same goes for buying a house. The listing price is a starting point, not the final price. Sellers expect offers below asking, and if you don't negotiate, you're paying more than you need to. Medical bills are another area where negotiation can save you serious money. Hospitals and doctors often have inflated prices that they're willing to reduce if you ask. If you receive a big bill, call the billing department and ask if they can lower it. Many times they'll offer a discount, especially if you're paying in cash or if you're uninsured. They'd rather get something than nothing, and they have flexibility in what they charge. Insurance is negotiable too. When your car or home insurance comes up for renewal, don't just accept the new rate. Call your agent and ask if there are discounts you qualify for. Shop around and get quotes from other companies, then use those quotes as leverage to negotiate a lower rate with your current provider. The same goes for cable and internet. These companies have retention departments whose job is to keep customers from leaving. If you call and say you're thinking about canceling, they'll often offer you a lower rate or throw in extra channels or faster speeds for free. You just have to ask. The reason most people don't negotiate is a mix of discomfort and ignorance. They don't want to seem cheap or difficult, and they don't realize that negotiation is normal and expected in many situations. But companies are counting on you not to ask. They set prices high because they know most people will just pay them. The ones who negotiate get a better deal, and the ones who don't subsidize those discounts. If you start negotiating on just a few major expenses each year, you could easily save thousands of dollars. It doesn't take special skills or a lot of time. You just have to be willing to ask. The worst thing that can happen is they say no, and you're no worse off than you were before. But most of the time, you'll get something, whether it's a discount, a waived fee, or a better payment plan. Not negotiating is essentially volunteering to overpay, and it's the single biggest financial mistake the middle class makes. So let's recap the big takeaways. The middle class is losing thousands every year to extended warranties that rarely pay out, streaming services that pile up, food delivery markups, long car loans, gym memberships that go unused, bank fees, lottery tickets, daily lunches out, impulse shopping, expensive coffee habits, grocery convenience traps, forgotten subscriptions, furniture financing, lifestyle inflation, and failing to negotiate. None of these things are luxuries or guilty pleasures. They're normal, everyday decisions that feel small in the moment but add up to massive amounts over time. The good news is that once you see where your money is going, you can start making different choices. You don't have to overhaul your entire life. Just pick 2 or 3 items from this list and tackle those first. Cancel subscriptions you're not using. Pack your lunch a few days a week. Call your insurance company and ask for a lower rate. Small changes compound, and within a year you could be saving $5,000 or $10,000 without feeling deprived. Now it's your turn. Drop a comment and tell me which item on this list you're going to tackle first. And share this video with someone who needs to hear it because chances are they're wasting money on at least a few of these things too. Thanks for watching.